Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, we are going over gamer finance. Now, this thing has just been on absolute fire recently. Some people within my Patreon are up over 600%. It's absolutely insane. So I was like, okay, I got to update them. I got to let them know what all is going on, what I am expecting going forward. Now, a quick little warning. It is absolutely thundering outside. So if you hear any loud noises, that's what that is. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump straight into the computer here. Now, I will let all of you who don't know that I actually do have a Patreon. Now, in this Patreon, you will get access to every trade that I make. You'll get early access to these videos. You'll get access to the updates, research, and all of the links that I use in these videos before I even post them. There's so much that goes into it, so definitely go down to the link in the description. Check it out. Let me know what you think, and if you could sign up, that would be absolutely appreciated. Also, if you are looking to expand out into a new brokerage or start your own investment journey, I highly recommend using the referral link down below. It'll bring you over to Webull. Whenever you sign up and deposit $100 into your account, you will get 2 free stocks valued all the way up to $1,850. But with that being said, whenever it comes to GMR, we can see here that my very first video was going to be on May 7th when this thing was fresh. I mean, this thing was fresh out the gate, super duper new, maybe less than 48 hours old at the time. I mean, it was just absolutely new. Well, since then, I must kind of say that this thing has just done absolutely amazing, okay? That video was posted here. And since then, it has just absolutely skyrocketed. We can see that it has gone up roughly about 615% since the creation of that video. Now, I will automatically go ahead and say that within the Patreon, I was telling people that in my non-financial advisor opinion, that I always do think that taking profits, especially whenever you start to see some gains like these, is always a good idea, right? No matter how much you like a token, no matter how much you like a project, no matter how much you like a crypto, as Connor Kenny says all the time, no matter how much you love something, it can still burn you, right? And so with that being said, I did tell them a few times, actually. I told a few people here that, let me get that off the screen. I told a few people here that I thought this could be a good time to take profits, as we weren't sure exactly how it was going to react to its first initial dip. And then as it did start to continue up, as some of them were seeing 6x, 5x, I was saying, hey, it's never a bad idea, even if you don't want to take profits, even if you take out your initial investment, simply to ensure that you are mitigating risk as much as possible, right? Because that's our goal at the end of the day. We can love these projects, we can love these cryptos, but our goal on this channel is to maximize profits. We want to get in, get out when we make some gains, or get in and hold that thing for the long term once it becomes a true investment. So what I always say with these investments, what I always say with these different cryptos, is that they are still speculative, okay? They're still in speculation mode until they really have these platforms out. Once they really start living up to all of the different expectations that they have, once they start meeting those milestones, then we can start to reconsider and say, okay, this could be an investment. But at the moment, things like GMR, it's only a week old. It's still speculation, right? I absolutely love GMR, but we're still speculating that it'll do any of the things that it promises it does, right? And so with that being said, while it is still in the speculative phase, taking profits to mitigate risk at all costs is never a bad idea, okay? There's kind of like a little disclaimer, but my honest, true opinion on what I always say. Now, for those of you who maybe say, you know what, I just put 30-40 bucks and I'm just kind of see what happens, and then now your 30-40 bucks is sitting at maybe about 300-400 bucks. Now you're kind of thinking, okay, and if you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna hold on to this thing and I'm just gonna see where it goes, right? I'm not too worried about it. If I lose everything, I lose everything. It's no big deal. So what can we expect going forward from this price? What am I seeing? And then again, what am I expecting based off of all the news we've been getting? Well, as we can see here, it had its first more substantial dip. I would say that its first dip was going to be a little bit more here, but it's starting to see a more extended dip at the moment. Now, what I typically do whenever they are this new, I mean less than a week old or just at a week old, is I kind of try to get an idea of where some resistance and some support is, because we don't have that much price history, right? We don't really have that much of an idea of how it reacts to these different changes in price. And so with that, we can't really gauge it off of history, but we can kind of gauge it off of just, again, establishment of resistance and support. So as we can see here, it does react pretty well to the levels of resistance and support that it does establish, which is something we always want to see, right? That's healthy price movement. We don't want to see too majorly dramatic movements up or down. I know, of course, if it does go up, we'd all get excited, but whenever we start to see it not reacting at all to any of its previously established resistance and support, that could not necessarily be the best thing, as it could be creating an unrealistic bulk movement. Now, what I will say is that it's been doing, again, a great job of setting these different levels and then bypassing them in a healthy way, which is something I always look forward to. Of course, as we did see here, there was a bit of resistance once it had that initial fall, once we really started to see it fall. But from there, we saw it, again, establish resistance, bypass resistance, then use that as support in order to retest the next level of resistance. That's exactly what we saw here, right? Resistance, support, resistance, bypass, and now we're starting to reach, maybe, could be seeing it start to reach this previous level of resistance here. My guess is that it won't initially break through it. I feel like we would probably see this thing kind of slow down a little bit, but at the end of the day, it is Monday, and we know that it starts to pick up as the week does go on, so who knows, right? At the end of the day, you can never really guess, and we don't have much price history to base any assumptions off of, but I'm going to be looking, again, to see this thing keep clearing these different levels of resistance, establish them as support, and create this overall pattern of bypass, maintain, bypass, maintain. So the next big point of resistance, again, is something we are approaching right now. What I would love to see from this thing, a little bit of a fall there, a little bit of a gain. So one thing that I would like to see, again, even if we do find some resistance here, we kind of see this little type of price movement, maybe a little consolidation at the top of the resistance, and then bypass it, establish it as support, then retest this previous local resistance. Now, I think this is the next big milestone that I would like to see this thing reach. Again, we don't have too much price history to see how it reacts to things like this, but just my opinion is being able to bypass this previous level of resistance would be optimal, because that's the most local strong point of resistance. Of course, we do have this one, and we had like some of these more individual candle resistance, but what I would like to see is something like this be able to establish it, and it'd be able to break this downward trend that we kind of can see just in something like that. I mean, it's already done a great job of breaking that, but as we did see, we were in something of a wedge here, and then we broke out the wrong way, which is never a good sign, but it has done a great job of recovery. But anyway, a little bit off topic there. What I am seeing as well is if we go ahead and we check out some of the Fibonacci retracement levels, we can see that this thing has been reacting very strongly to those as well, which is, again, of course, just a great sign whenever it comes to the healthiness of the price movement. We can see that it established loads and loads of support and resistance around these levels. As it did fall through, we saw it re-establish this level here, use it as support as we did see, and now it is making a break for it. My personal opinion is we will see a good bit of resistance here, and like I said, it's basically the same exact level that we're seeing right here. As we can see here, this previous level of resistance is the same retracement level that we were looking at. And from there, I would love to see this thing maybe consolidate a little bit and be able to bypass this previous level, then start to work its way up to all-time highs. Would be absolutely phenomenal. I'm not 100% sure how long it will take. I'm not, you can't really gauge it whenever they are this new. You never really know how much the momentum will pick it up. But one thing I do want to pay a little bit of attention to is the fact that we have been kind of seeing a downward sloping amount of volume. And if you are seeing price go up with volume going down, there's a bit of divergence there, and that's not necessarily a great thing. And so with that, we just need to keep an eye on it. I would like to see volume pick back up as the week does go on, and then we can continue to use that as support to support some upward price movement, right? So that's kind of just what I'm seeing, just an overall update and just an analysis of what all we can expect going forward. Again, there's not too much price movement for us to gauge any of these things on. It's simply just guessing and speculation until we truly have some chart history. Now, what we can see from the last few days whenever it comes to news and how fast the thing has grown is absolutely phenomenal. So I have the tweet that was put up on the day that I made my video. This was right after my video released. And then I have the tweet pulled up from yesterday that can kind of compare how much this thing has grown simply just from whenever I made this very first video to now, just for those of you who are on my channel and got in, right? So on the day that I made that video, which was Friday, it was sitting at a $62 million market cap with about 40K holders, 10K Telegram members, and almost 6K Twitter followers. Of course, we did see a CoinMarketCap listing and a CoinGecko listing, which was phenomenal, and that was a great, progress to only be within 4 days. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal, right? Now, what we have seen over the last 2 days has been absolutely amazing. We saw a growth of over $200 million in market cap. We saw the amount of holders increase by over double, by about 54,000 holders. We saw the Telegram go from 10K all the way up to 8K, and then we saw the amount of Twitter followers double as well. Now, I will say that the Twitter is still increasing as it has bypassed over 15,000 followers. Now, as we can see here, they of course do have CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko again, and then we have some exchange news coming very soon, as was announced by the CEO. Now, one thing I do want to pay attention to that I'm super duper excited about, which is just another great milestone for the company itself, is actually going to be an announcement. I have to find it here. Give me 1 second. that was released about an hour ago, and I know that some of you may not be able to tell, but it's pretty clear that that's going to be Bitmart. As you can see here, this is going to be the Bitmart logo, and it's probably Bitmart right there. I'd be pretty surprised if it wasn't Bitmart. But just being able to establish some of these different things and to reach some of these different milestones within the first week of being listed is absolutely insane, right? They are seeing growth, and they are seeing an increase in volume that we haven't seen from many different cryptos, and the fact that they are able to capitalize on their own style and to capitalize on this movement is it's phenomenal, right? So major kudos to Gamer. I'm super duper excited to see what the future does hold. Now, another thing I did want to check out, as we have been seeing the amount of volume increase, is how the overall holder percentage has changed, okay? Because one thing we can notice is that sometimes whenever we see that first initial week, that we'll see some big whales get established, right? We'll see some people just buying loads and loads and loads, which is of course good for the price, but long-term wise, it's not necessarily the best thing. Well, one thing that I did notice is that we really don't have a big whale issue at the moment. You never know what'll happen, but at the moment we don't really. Now, as we can see here, this individual wallet does hold about 5.4%, which is it's a lot. I don't usually like to see anyone hold over 4%. Of course, we do have the dead wallet, which isn't to be worried about. We have the deployer, again, not anything to be worried about, nor this one here, and then we have the contract here. So under that, we can see that these next wallets don't really hold a substantial amount. Of course, we have a 1%, but other than that, about 0.5, 0.4, 0.4. So I'm not too stressed about the amount of people that we have holding it in comparison to the percentage in which they hold it. Of course, if we saw some of these different people with 4%, 4%, 3%, 4%, then I would start to be like, okay, we need to pay close attention to that, because if any of them just so happen to decide that they want to sell all their GMR now that they're up 600%, that would be very bad for the price. And this early on, seeing big price drops is not good, right? So the fact that we are starting to see, this thing become well diversified amongst holders, I'm super excited about, and I think going forward, that will be super duper important for them. Now, speaking of going forward, I kind of wanted to talk about things that I'm looking forward to over the next few months, and why I still do believe that this is still fully speculative, and I think taking profits or taking an initial investment right now is the best idea. Because again, at the end of the day, whenever we look at tokens or cryptos or projects that are this new, we're speculating 100%. We're saying, I think that they will launch a Gamer Vault. I'm speculating that they will have an onboarding. I'm speculating that they'll have a platform launch. I'm speculating this. I'm speculating that. There's no proof, and there's no just proof, right? We can't see it. So with that, we always have to be careful, because you never know what the true intentions are at the end of the day, right? This could be very great design. We can see all of this stuff going on, and then bam, we get screwed over, right? It can happen. And so with that, until we can truly start to see some of these things develop, we need to be on edge. We need to have our guard up, and we need to have that barrier in between us and our emotions, because yeah, our emotions be like, man, I love this project, but at the end of the day, love it or not, you can still get burned. So this is not me, flooding GMR. This is not me, spreading a negativity or anything like that. It's just me being realistic whenever it comes to where these things are going. Now, in the future, as we do start to get a launch of a Gamer Vault, as we do start to see that they are reaching these milestones, then we can maybe move it from that speculative play to a long-term investment, a short-term, mid-term investment. But at the moment, I wouldn't even really say it's an investment just yet. I think it's just still a play. Now, hopefully, as we do go ahead, what I'm looking the most forward to is going to be the Gamer Vault launch, just because I think that will be the biggest thing. Like, okay, this is true, this is real, because we have, again, no proof that any of this is going on. So whenever that happens, I'm super excited, because I think that'll kind of establish a level of credibility and, legitimacy, right? Which I'm super excited about. Hopefully we do see that merch marketplace launch, because, again, I do say it all the time. If their graphics are going to look anything like the pictures in which they use, I want some of it. But realistically, I'm looking forward to the development as they do continue to build up their cash. As we do see the NFT platform launch, that'll be the next big thing after the Gamer Vault launch, because I think everyone is really looking forward to these two things. And again, as they continue to do this, it'll provide more value. It'll justify such a large growth in the market cap itself. And as we do continue to see justifications for price growth, it'll just establish, again, levels of credibility and legitimacy for gamers. So that's a bit what we've been seeing over the last few days. I know that was a lot, and I tried to keep it in a short video, but again, guys, just be careful. Make sure that you're not putting too much money into any of these things that you are afraid to lose. If you are afraid to lose any amount of money, don't put it in these speculative plays right now, because they are risky. They're 50-50s, and you really never know what will happen. But at the end of the day, I do really feel like Gamer has a lot of potential. I know many of my Patreon members are up 500 to 700% on this thing, and I'm super duper excited about what the future holds, especially if they are able to hold up to these different things in which they are promising they will be able to. So with that being said, I will continue to update you guys as much as I possibly can whenever it comes to Gamer. If you would like to see it, and if you would like to see it, definitely let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. I post on this channel 2 to 3 times every single day, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace.